What's up, people? Shame TV, your host. You know who it is. If you don't, now you do. Usually don't do this on screen, but it's nice and dark in here, and it's snowy outside. So, y'all want to get a little snow view, real quick. Yes. I walked out to this shit. I knew it was gonna be bad, but it had just started when I came outside, and that was only an hour ago, and now the whole ground is covered. So, but anywho, I'm gonna wait for y'all to come on in while I enjoy the end of my check. We got a little bit to talk about. I mentioned this stuff before, so I want to kind of get into it a little bit more. I just wanted to ask the question of why no one pressures everyone else, to be African. It's crazy. No one was pressuring us before to be African per se. That's because we never really disputed it. So, and again, I have a habit of just talking while the camera's on because I'll just treat it like a video. But I decided to go live just because, why not? I really don't do it anymore at all. So I really want to do it more, so I'm going to go live more and more, especially on the weekends. Oh, man. But yes, people, welcome. Shame TV, your host. You know who it is. It's a nice snowy evening here in New England, and I'm off work. So I decided to come to the people and be with the people and talk to the people. I just want you guys to know I appreciate your time. If you stop through, you don't have to, so I appreciate it. The number one thing I want to discuss real quick is, I'm not going to hold you guys long. The only thing I really want to discuss is what's going on with the majority of so-called Africans who were enslaved being sent to the Caribbean islands. This has been a fact that has been brought up lately due to a lot of the conversations that have been going on between foundational Black Americans and basically everyone else. And we had to realize that the majority of Africans brought from the slave trade were brought to the Caribbean islands. They were not brought to America. But no one, absolutely no one, hassles people from Trinidad and Tobago, people from Jamaica about being African, about calling themselves African. No one does this. Absolutely no one brings this up. As a matter of fact, I am 46 years old, and I have lived in the Midwest, and I have lived up and down the Eastern Seaboard. And I've been up and down the Eastern Seaboard. And I'm telling you right now, no one does that. So what is so special about us? What is so different about American Blacks that we, for some reason, are not allowed to be Jamaica? We, for some reason, are not allowed to be Haiti. We, for some reason, cannot be Trinidad and Tobago without being harassed and looked upon as though we're being divisive. Yet these people do this shit every day. Their whole life, their whole identity are these names in these places. If you go to anyone on the island of Trinidad and Tobago, these people don't even talk about, they don't even really fuck with Jamaicans like that. They have a small little beef and rift that goes on between them. But that's not the point. The point is, no one is telling these people that they must be African. And I'd like to know why. I'd like to know what does that mean? Greetings to you. Greetings to all who come through. Thank you for your time. But I'd like to know from you, from the chat, what at some point, man, everybody's gonna have to actually sit down and be honest with themselves. At some point, everyone is going to sit down and be honest with themselves, and they're going to say that really no one has a reason to even care what we're doing. If you want to be honest, no one should care what we claim or don't claim. But it definitely should not be to such a large degree where I've heard, guys, I'm putting together videos right now where this sister was, this black woman was running, she was going off, man, going off. I guess she was American born. And she was just going off saying how I'm from America. I'm born in America. So that makes me a foundational black American. When clearly you're not. Like I don't understand why you would feel that way. I don't understand why you would fucking feel that way. Why you would feel that you are the same as somebody whose family goes back to sometimes the 1600s, the 1700s, definitely the 1800s if they're foundational black Americans. How can their family go that far back into this country when yours obviously does not, and you feel that you're the same as them? Let's be honest, man. Ever since the reparations discussion started to seem like an actuality, more so than a possibility, that's when this kicked in. You have other people who talk about it, like Tariq Nasheed, Jason Black, all these brothers, and they talk about different aspects of it. They talk about how people can't hide anymore. You guys know how I start my videos now with the intro and the outro to my videos with the cosplaying Nigerians when they're actually holding classes in African countries, teaching one another how to try to pretend to be like us. That's a very odd thing. That's something that has to be said. That's something that has to be, talked about. Like, where does that end? Where is this gonna end? What's the end goal? If you're gonna sit there and pretend to be a whole nother group of people, what is your end goal? Why are you pretending to be a whole group of people? What is the point of that? It's crazy. But what I find even more crazy is that it's easy for these people to blend in as us, and also easy for these people to step out and not be us. And I'm going to go ahead and say that's one of the number one problems in the foundational black American community. The number one problem in FBA community are immigrants who are able to move in and out between us. That's our issue. Now that we're looking at it, it's our major issue. Right now, Massachusetts is getting a little conversation as far as being the lead and the spearhead in this reparations thing. Let me tell you right now, I'm up here right now. I'm right here, right now, in the great state of Massachusetts. And I'm telling you right now, I hear a lot of study talk, a lot of African. They're talking a lot of African and a lot of study. So at this point, to me, it's still just lip service, because when I hear those buzzwords, those keywords, study African, African study, African American. Now, they do have plausible deniability, because technically foundational Black Americans are classified as African American. But that's giving me cause to pause. There's a lot of study and there's a lot of African being thrown around in there. Now, the reason why I pause is because here there are a lot of Africans. A lot of them. Okay? And they would love absolutely nothing more than to dip their fucking crummy, musty hands into our reparations. There are a million fucking Jamaicans here. They would love nothing more to dip their crummy fucking hands into our reparations. The good thing about Massachusetts, I did a video. Please go check it out, Shane TV and the video logs. Please go check it out. I did show that they actually are very, very clear on the classifications, very, very clear on who would actually get cash benefits. So that part is clear as day, and that part I actually agree with, though I want to take that African American shit out and replace it with foundational Black American, but we can't always have everything that we want. So the point being, it clearly states 1800s. You must have lineage to this country, meaning your family was walking around in this country either free or enslaved in the 1800s or prior. That is your qualifications for reparations in this country, period. That in and of itself removes everybody, man. That's not us. Because none of those people were here. In 1878, there were no Jamaicans running around here. There were no people, no Trinidadian, and none of that shit. No Caribbean people were running around here. They were not living, going to school, working, paying taxes, suffering through Jim Crow and all that. They weren't, none of it. They were not. Dare I say, when they were allowed to come here was the late 50s, which basically were the 60s. Basically at the end of all the fighting that we did to at least be able to walk around this motherfucker freely without being jumped on. Crazy, right? Crazy, right? I had somebody, like I said, talk about when his parents came here. I know when your parents came here. The only time they would have been allowed to come here, in the 60s. But my parents come here from going back to the 1700s, Brody. But I'm digressing a lot right now. I think I am moving away from the point, and I want to bring myself back to the point. And the point of this stream is why are the majority of slaves who were brought from Africa not being forced to call themselves African? We need to know this. This needs to be addressed. This needs to be put out to the people. This needs to be cleared up so that there's no confusion, because as a foundational Black American, I am now beginning to create my own prejudices and biases against people who are not foundational Black Americans for that very reason. Because I am unclear. I am extremely unclear on why someone or some group would have a problem with me identifying my particular set of ancestors and their ancestors as our own people. Yet, these people over here who are supposedly black just like me, they could do the exact same thing. If you want to know why we don't like, let's speak for Derek, why I don't like certain groups of people, I'm starting to dislike them as a whole in totality right now, that's why. Because I feel the audacity of you to have a problem with us saying we want to be this, but you said you want to be this and no one said anything about it. No one says anything about Rihanna claiming where she's from. No one says anything about Nicki, whatever, claiming publicly where she's from. No one says anything about Brandon Johnson talking about how he's from Haiti and his Haitian background and all this shit. No one says anything about it. No one says that Brandon Johnson needs to never say Haiti, he must say Africa, because Haitians are Africans. So when the next Caribbean Day parade comes around in Boston, New York, all over that place, mostly northern city places that they take place, I think that needs to be questioned, that needs to be put in question, especially from the Pan-Africanists. I don't think the Pan-Africanists are going hard enough on these people, because they're another group that I'm starting to exile from my main group of hang-arounds, are Pan-Africanists. Because two reasons. Pan-Africans mysteriously never see all these Africans, Jamaicans, and Haitians talking shit about us for no cause. No one's saying anything about them. They're just saying vile, evil, mean shit for no reason. So it's a reason behind it. It's called envy. But the point is, you never see 0, 1, 2, but you start counting to 5 at 3. That shit makes no sense to me and it bothers me. So Pan-Africans, for that one reason, I think y'all need to pull your head out of the sand, pull your head out of that Pan-African sand, and start actually paying attention to things before you start commenting, because you're going to cause even more friction, and I don't think that you're actually there to cause friction. So if you're not actually here as a Pan-Africanist to cause friction, then you need to listen. Stop saying things to foundational Black Americans about what we say about Jamaicans, Puerto Ricans sometimes, about fucking Africans. Stop saying stuff to us, because I'm telling you, we're responding to them. So if you're not gonna address their shit, how do you think you look by addressing us? And only us. That's number one with the Pan-African shit. Second, with the Pan-African shit, you're gonna have to explain to me as well why you are not telling people in Trinidad and Tobago, and you are not telling people in Jamaica that they are wrong for saying Jamaican and Trinidad and Tobago. They should fucking be saying African. You should be telling them that. I have hardly ever heard someone from Trinidad keep calling them, refer to themselves, and then Africa in any sentences. Except the ones who live here, who may call themselves African American. But they don't call themselves African American. We all know that. They call themselves Trinidadian Americans. So when they're in Trinidad, they call themselves Trinidadians. When they're in America, they call themselves Trinidadian Americans. When do they refer to themselves as Africans? In Jamaica, they refer to themselves as Jamaicans. In America, they refer to themselves as Jamaican Americans. When do they call themselves African? When Haitians refer to themselves as Haitians in Haiti. When they come here, they refer to themselves as Haitians. Here. Where's the Africa shit? Again, this is the greater majority of so-called Africans. This little group of Africans came over here and mixed with the indigenous black people that were here. And they gotta fucking somehow still refer to themselves as Africans? Or is it because we popping and because we the most popular fucking humans on earth? And you want to associate yourself with it somehow, some way, so you call us Africans. Basically, listen here, Africans, especially the Africans. If you wanted Africa to be popping, you wouldn't have tried to sold us off to white people, the ones who did get sold off. That obviously was your best stock. So you got rid of your top stock, and that top stock came all the way over here and made a fucking country for the devil, nigga. And you are sitting there still in shanty towns, letting goats suck on the women's titties and all types of weird shit. I dare you to dispute it. So you niggas are fucking lowlifes anyway, just for that. For your role in that. For the African nations and countries and peoples who had a role in that. Of course, not all Africans. It's not all of anything, and anyone who has to have that clarification is a fucking moron, and you don't even belong in discussions. But continuing on. Yeah, man. No one is forcing these greater majority of Africans who were sent to these countries to be Africans. These nations and these places. And then they developed and started calling themselves something. Why would a person from Jamaica call themselves Jamaican? Obviously, because they had an ethnogenesis and they've been in that land for hundreds of years. So therefore, they were hundreds of years removed from any sort of African culture. Therefore, they are not really African like that. It is what it is, man. I don't have an issue with that. My only issue, like I said before, is I don't understand why the fuck you not calling them Africans. I had a brother come in my comment section the other day. He was a Moor. And I'm like, because he had the Bay at the bottom and back of his name. So I'm like, listen, man, like, I feel the same way about y'all. Like, listen, man, y'all have not said a motherfucking thing, man, to these countries about referring to themselves as themselves, man. So why don't start making a fucking issue now that we're saying it, man? If we had shut the fuck up and just let things keep going along the way they were, no one would have a problem with anything. The only reason you even talking now, two reasons. One, we started to expose that y'all were talking shit about us and had whole words for us and shit like that, so we found out. And number two, that you see that shit is popping now again. Like Sarnetta's stupid ass said, what are we building now? You want to know what we building right now? Sarnetta, you want to know what we're building? We're building our reparations package that our ancestors are telling us to do. Okay, our ancestors that dwell within us are making us do this. Okay, that's what we're doing. And the second thing we're doing, we are ridding our community of fucking rats. We are ridding our community of those who are not in our community. Let's like Sarnetta. Like a person who sat around stealing people's information, stealing information, never paying these people for this shit, sitting out on the corner hustling it and selling it because he hustled his way in and finessed his way in and bootlicked his way in to being able to be one of the 19th person walking around Khalid Muhammad. You're a Dominican, bro. You're not fucking FBA. You should have been out here trying to build a Dominican coalition. There is no black and brown coalition because your people are trying to be classified as white, just like all the other Hispanics and Latinos that come here. And the greater majority of them, just like Dominicans, practice anti-black racism. You're not like us either. You're just a fan. You like the culture. You like the women. You like everything about FBA culture. You're just not FBA. You can support us still. Sanetta, you can support us. You can support Foundational Black Americans Reparations. You support everything. But you got to stop calling a debt that's owed begging. That shit is weird. Why would you characterize something like that? It's not begging. It's not at all begging. It's not in the slightest begging. Yo, you can't fit in there, man. I wish I could show y'all these people trying to back into this fucking thing, man. This tight ass space, man. Instead of just parking right over there and just walking right there to the fucking gate. Now you're gonna park and jam yourself in beside somebody where they not gonna be able to fucking open their car door and even get in the car and move and try to pull out. Just it's shit like that what I just explained to y'all, and then people start saying shit like how high their IQs are or their people so smart, and I'd be like, man, just look at the way y'all drive and move around, man. Like, y'all fucking foreigners, man. I swear to God, dog. Now I see why their countries are the way they are. Now I see why when you watch the movies and you go there, and if you whatever, and people bang horns, people in the driving all crazy, ain't not hardly even any like traffic lights and shit. Just I don't understand, man. Like how did I'm gonna turn this shit, man, so y'all can see this shit, man. Look at the car beside it, man. Look at that shit, man. How do people supposed to get out their fucking car, man, and get in their car, man? That shit is crazy, yo. Then you gotta try to squeeze in there and try to squeeze in his car. Yo, this is crazy. This ain't shit, yo. You should see him on the street. Like I was gonna start a series called Boston Parking and showing y'all just how close they be parking to each other on the ass in the rear. This shit is crazy, man. It's fucking insane. It's insane. Look at this dipshit, can't even get out the car. Look at you, stuck. Look, stuck. Gotta flip the fucking mirror. Yo, now if I turn my camera, yo, and go right down there, there's like fucking 13 parking spots. Like wide open right there. This is what they do, yo. All right, man, my battery is getting low. I just wanted to come up here and kick it with y'all a little bit, man, because I don't. And I told you I promised I'd start doing that more. And look, man, I'm doing it more. I just needed something that you all know me, man. It got to be something that's passionate to me, something that I want to talk about. And this is it all day long and twice on Saturdays, I guess. So, because I did drop a video this morning. I think, was it this morning? Yeah, it was this morning. So, Shame TV, man. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. Once again, T. Cole, my G. I think it's really fucked up, world. All black world, that you guys are upset because we want to be what we are, man. That's crazy.